Technology's fucking us.
Here we are, on your face.
On your face. I just got what you were laughing about, I think.
Oh, Lord. You know, that whole text-to-type thing and how, you know, it sometimes says things that you didn't really say, but it thought you said. Anyway, funny times. Hi, Tamar. Hi, baby. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody, to the show. And a special welcome to the people who watch this show on YouTube after the show is recorded and we post it on YouTube. So thank you for watching the show on YouTube. Feel free to comment as you have been already. I just want to say a quick shout out to Tanisha. Welcome to the show, Tanisha. Thanks for watching. She's not on live, but she watches on the YouTube channel. And then the other folks...
Thank you. Hello and welcome.
And the other folks on YouTube I'll be saying hi to as we move forward with subsequent shows. All right, so we have a big...
Hey, Ren, welcome.
Hey, Ren, welcome. We have a big lineup tonight, so we're going to... And it's funny because the way this show came out, I did not deliberately choose... I should say, I did not consciously choose the topics we're going to talk about tonight. And yet, the topics tonight are all related. Is that water or is that soda water?
It's my business.
Okay, then.
It's bubbly water.
Bubbly water. And so, the reason why I'm saying that is because how wonderfully all of the in the news topics we're going to talk about tonight are so related. And it just kind of came out that way this week, and it's yet another demonstration of all the things that we talk about how
the universe works together.
That's exactly right. Even when you're frustrated about the current outcomes.
Hear, hear.
I'm in the same boat. We can talk about that if maybe when we get later in the show we can talk about that.
Sure.
Okay. So, welcome everybody to the show. Let's get started. So, the first thing we're going to talk about tonight, I'm going to post it in... Actually, let's go here. Is that okay?
Sure. I don't know what I'm looking at. There's
too
many things on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just put...
Okay.
Ready, go.
Should I post it or should I just talk to it? Because it's so long. I should just talk to it. This is the prep thing.
Oh yeah, just talk to it.
Okay. So there's this.
This is an email that we received from a viewer.
Yeah. So it wasn't an email that she sent directly to us. This person, Faith, who is her name is Faith Landsman. She is the administrative director for CFAR Research Facility, core director at UCLA HIV Research Study Volunteer Project. Wow, that's a mouthful. And she participates along with me on this massive email list called Listserv. And each day, a random person is chosen to write an email to all the people on this list.
That shouldn't have been Tamar.
What was it?
Your product placement.
Oh, yeah, that...
We've had this talk before.
I'm just drinking, okay? Okay, so back to the topic. Stick on topic, Tamar. Jeez.
Hi, Kristen.
Kristen, welcome to the show. So this woman, Faith, won the listserv, and she wrote this great email that I thought would be a great public service announcement, and it's wonderful how everything on the show tonight ties in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you know about this?
I do.
This material? Okay, good. So you can probably talk more about it than I can. Okay, I don't know. Okay, anyway, we're having such a good show tonight, and it's just like 4 minutes into it. So this woman caters, as I said, caters to the HIV community, and this email that she talked about was this drug called PrEP. Now, PrEP stands for... It's in here somewhere.
PreExposure Prophylaxis, or PrEP.
Yes, PreExposure Prophylaxis. And what this is a drug that anyone can take. It's not just for gay people. It's a drug you can take
before,
or actually just anytime. You can just take it like you would an aspirin. And it is highly effective at preventing the transmission of HIV infection.
Yes.
And what this woman, so the reason why we're sharing this on the show tonight is because it is known that the transgender community is one of the highest risk communities for the transmission of HIV.
Yes.
And many HIV positive trans people and people who have intimate relations with trans people don't know that they have HIV. And the stigma around getting a test is very high. Not to mention the fear, because, well, in the olden days it was a death penalty, but it's not anymore.
Not at all.
Not at all. And so the reason the reason why I thought this was really timely that I got this email is because she says in this email that white people, white gay men, are using this drug like crazy. And as a result of it, they're seeing lowered transmission rates of HIV among that community. But then she describes in this email that trans people and people of color, not necessarily trans people of color, but people of color, so that could be gay black people.
All people of color.
That's correct.
Actually.
Correct. Do not...
heterosexual, cisgendered, or black women or women of color are the highest.
Oh, I get that, yeah. Yes. That seems very logical when you think through it. So she says that, unfortunately, the people of color community is not... the PrEP drug is not making it for some reason, or knowledge about the drug is not being shared within the people of color community.
Right.
So I'm checking my frustration.
Good.
Because what the fuck? How could that not be happening? I know, right? I know the answer to... I have one answer to that question, but we're not going to go there.
Oh, right.
And so we're...
Is anyone keeping up with us? Because I think I might be losing us.
I just want... Do you want to elaborate?
No, please go ahead.
Okay. I just want to do our little tiny part.
That's right.
To inform the people of color in the transgender community, in all communities.
Specifically, though, here in our trans community.
Yes, that this drug is available.
Yes.
And you should be looking into it, no matter what your HIV status. Because as Faith says, unless you've seen the script from the doctor of the person you're having sex with, you don't know for sure whether or not that person has HIV. And if you take this drug, she says the research shows that the drug is better than condoms in preventing HIV transmission. So those of you who like to go
working on the inside, because it works on the inside.
Exactly. So those of you who do not like to wear condoms, you can still be highly effectively protected from HIV by taking this drug. Just so you know. So go to your public health resource center or your transgender community center or whoever you need to go to and find out about this drug.
Yes, absolutely. And it actually shouldn't be that hard because the information is out there and it's being passed around, especially within the gay community and the HIV community and stuff like that. The information is there. So I did share in the line how you spell it. It's big P, little r, big E, big P, PrEP.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
So,
and to answer your questions, Devin, I don't know how expensive it is and how if and how much insurance will cover it, but I would imagine they would because it's a lot cheaper than
treating you
if you have HIV.
Totally. And especially when you consider, it's Outside In and the Q Center are good reasons. They absolutely are.
Yes.
They absolutely are.
Yes.
And so, you're absolutely right. I'm sure some of you know this, when people are treated for HIV, talking about the cost of treatment of HIV, not only does the government treat the condition of HIV, but they also provide housing for people who are HIV positive because
there are a lot of services for people who are HIV positive.
Yes. And so the cost, and I'm not complaining, I'm just putting it out on the table. The cost of treating someone who has HIV because of the broader perspective of expenses that go into to taking care of that is much broader than just the drugs.
Right.
And so if you can...
Which in themselves, on bare minimum, are $40,000 to $60,000 a year.
That's right.
So easy.
Yes. So do yourself a favor, look into this drug, and we'll just end it at that.
All right.
Okay,
what's next?
Well, you want to check in any comments? Get out of here, Ant.
Let's see.
Get out. Move. Okay.
Kristen says, wow, didn't have any idea. I will take opportunity when possible to share. Please do. And then Devin says, Outside and in the Q Center are good resources. That's for here locally in the Portland area. But in all major cities across America, there is some sort of HIV clinic that will definitely have more information. But I'm sure you can find information online.
Absolutely. So. Okay, where's the video?
Let's see, some of our other topics that we were going to talk about also are healthcare related.
That's exactly right. And so the first one we're going to talk about...
Well, 2 of the articles
that's the one
are the same article, are the same topic.
Yes. Yes. The reason why... I'm going to put them both in the
thread here.
Thank you. Damn, what's up with my language? The reason why I'm putting both of them is because the first one describes the condition. We're going to talk about it in a second. But the second one provides really nice photographs or images showing the differences. So this is for, and I know none of these people are watching, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is for people who believe that being transgender is a choice and an abomination, and there's no way that God could make it happen. Okay. Science has discovered, not just, I didn't post, well, anyway, science has discovered that people's brains who are transgender are different than both men and women. Is that correct? Correct.
Yes.
That they have identified the portion of the brain that,
well,
at least
within this study, they studied a specific portion of the brain that deals with body image.
Yes.
And that part of the brain. And they did MRIs on 4 different groupings, and it was cisgendered women, cisgendered men,
very good,
transgendered women on hormones for a year, and transgendered women who had never had hormones.
Good job. And what did they find?
They found that they're different.
Yeah, this particular portion.
I don't read medicalese all that great, so I didn't quite understand what it was explaining in the picture.
Yeah.
But essentially, they're different. And we talked about this before. And on that Katie Couric special, there's also more talk about it. This study was done at in a university in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I would really like to see more of this kind of stuff here in America with a medical community that has a different concept and thought pattern.
I would too. And it's what's interesting is they while they acknowledge that no brain is the same as another, there seems to be a consistent difference in this particular region, the size and the shape of this particular region of the brain. And they offer a lot of other detail about it that I thought was interesting. What I thought was fascinating though was, and I'm not saying we have the lock on this discovery, but we started talking about the Katie Couric show. We both talked about the medical science that was being discussed there, and then this information came out. But the Katie Couric show didn't come out a long time ago.
Came out long before. I mean, it's on Netflix now.
Yeah,
so it was on TV before that.
Right, and right. So it's interesting,
and that was an American study that they talked about, I believe.
Oh, you're right. That's right.
Which was looking at the hypothalamus in the brain, which again also deals with, I think, parts of body image and self-image and gender identity.
And gender identity, correct. So there's and then this week, or actually last week, there's another study that came out that's talking about they have found the 20 gene pairs that relate specifically to people identifying as transgender. So the point of these, the reason why we're sharing this stuff is because it's like the people on this channel, this show, already know that transgender is a thing. That it's not just made up, it's not just a choice.
Right.
We also know that there's a lot of people out there that are saying, show me the evidence that what you're saying is, show me the facts that what you're saying is true.
Okay, here you go.
Exactly, Remy. Exactly.
It's right here.
That's exactly right.
See?
Yeah.
And more of it is coming.
More and more is coming. And so I'm really excited that more of this information is coming. The scientific information that those people who are science-minded, who are stuck in materialism and only believe what material reality shows them.
Right.
I'm excited that those people are now getting the evidence they need.
Well, and as a trans woman myself, I find it interesting, too.
Well, I can see that. Did you find it confirming?
I mean, I guess it's confirming. I don't know if it's confirmation that I'm looking for, because it's not.
Right.
But that if you're looking for a reason, there are reasons that it's a difference. We're just part of people. We're just a different part of people, right? All these brains that they looked at all did the same essential things, right? But they responded differently or lit up differently in certain areas.
So what you're saying, as I hear it, is bringing up a topic that I think is worthy of discussion, and I think you and I agree on this topic, and that is the socialization that causes trans women to want to be seen as women as opposed to something broader than the male-female binary. Mm-hmm. And, the traditional cultures have called them third genders. Did you just crash?
I did. Third
genders. They've honored them as distinct from male and female. They've seen them as closer to God. And this is, I think, this evidence is confirming that is the case. That transgender people are, I'm using this word, but I don't mean it in the way some people may take it, a special class of human. Like a separate class of human.
I think special in the best possible way.
That's what I think too. That's what I think too.
In the best possible, most revered and honored way of the word.
That's
personally.
what I think too. Yeah,
I'd like to think so.
Yes. So it's just really awesome to see this study come out and demonstrate that transgender people have a physical difference in the brain that has them be who they are. Now, interestingly, from my spiritual perspective, thank you for not crushing that. That's so sweet. From my personal perspective, I believe that, now this could be controversial, that transgender people who come into the world as transgender have made that choice prior to coming into the world. So there is a choice involved.
I agree.
Oh, you do?
Well, we've talked.
We have actually. Yeah.
I agree, but that goes into beliefs.
It goes into beliefs, and so it can be seen as very controversial.
Right. Yeah. How the world begins and how life begins.
Exactly.
But I agree with that.
So yeah, so very, very cool that we're seeing this research come out. The next topic that we want...
before we jump over...
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Kristen says, concerning the brains of transgender...
You're so good.
I sincerely hope the conclusion doesn't head in the direction of it being a brain disorder. I read the article you posted and it was fascinating and rather unsurprising, but that was one fear that popped up for me. And I think that's got, I totally understand that. I know in one of those two articles, there's a link to another article that we discussed last year.
Yeah, some time ago.
Which talks about how it's no longer classified as a mental disorder. So
yeah, it's interesting because from a broad, who was that who mentioned that comment? Kristen. It's interesting from a broader perspective. What I see society doing is it's moving more and more towards accepting the differences that occur as a result of brain structure, and so I understand your fear. I think it's any fear is legitimate because it can create your reality. And at the same time, we as a community have an opportunity to choose the opposite of that fear. So instead of focusing on what we're afraid of and potentially increasing the probability of that reality occurring, let's pivot on that and think about how wonderful it's going to be when society sees this information and goes, oh, what were we thinking? These people should be accepted.
No difference.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's awesome to have that coming down the pipe.
Jonathan says, maybe we got unique brain patterns called psychic powers. Such a goober. Tamara says, we are gods. Yes, we are.
Yes.
Kristen says, we needs all the genders. I agree.
Yeah.
Jonathan says, yes, y'all are powerful and mighty.
I have seen that demonstrated so many times, how transgender people, particularly transgender women, are powerful and mighty. And yes, there are a lot of transgender women who out there don't have their shit together, but that does not negate the fact that there are other transgender women out there who are changing the lives of a whole bunch of motherfuckers.
Here.
Yeah.
Devin says, I wish I had this and this info to hand out a few years back when I fired all of my maternal family, just so they would have the info when they came across other trans people, because I know that more trans people can be more fragile than I am when it comes to bigots. Mm-hmm. I hope so. Mm-hmm. Hello, Troy. Welcome.
What's up, Yoda? And yes, Devin, did you see Devin?
Can I be afraid of having too much money?
Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
And that fear could cause you to not have any money. So, we'll probably be talking about that in the future. Damn Perry language. Yeah, I know. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to talk about, it's this story is about a where's the
tennis pro?
Yeah, volleyball.
That's what I meant.
I guess. So this story is
She was
about
serving.
yes, she's actually doing a spike.
Volleyball serve.
This story is about a woman who is potentially going to be in the 2020 Olympics, who's on the Brazil Superliga, which is Super League's volleyball team. And she transitioned in Europe, had her gender confirmation surgery, and then went back to Brazil and successfully got onto the Olympic team, or the Super League team. Mm-hmm. And she's participating as a competitor on this team. Now, this is a good article. It talks about a lot about her background, but the points of the article I wanted to talk about are the differences. So there's a woman in the article that talks about the differences and the advantages and the disadvantages of a transgender woman competing alongside cis women, mm-hmm. and what the advantages and disadvantages are. And as you probably know, audience, there are a lot of people who believe that transgender women have a lot of advantages compared to cisgender women. And this person acknowledges that. But she also says, in the case of volleyball, for example, because transgender women tend to be larger and have more mass, they're not as fast as cisgender women. And she also says that because of that, you can see this person...
Them sporty bitches are big bitches.
Okay.
Just saying.
I'm saying. And so you can see that this transgender woman's performance at the front of the team, where she's at the net, is very strong. But when she moves to the back, she makes a lot of errors because she just can't move as quickly as some of the other women can when the ball is coming from the other side. And so the reason why I thought it would be interesting to talk about this is because, this physiological difference of a trans woman compared to a cis woman in the context of a competition shows up everywhere. Like, for example, you know what? I don't think we talked about the MMA fighter who decided that...
We didn't talk about it, no, but I saw that article.
Yeah. So speaking of competition, there's an MMA fighter, again, out of Brazil, who, she's transgender. She decided that she was going to compete with men.
She whooped his ass.
Whooped his ass. Whooped his ass. Because she felt that she was too good to compete with women. Now, she didn't say she was too strong. She said that her skills were too good. And so she beat the first guy that she competed with officially. And so it's interesting because I think there is some validity to the argument that a trans woman competing against cis women have a competitive physical advantage.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's just personal.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because, I mean, if you train harder, if you work harder, you build your stamina, you know what I mean? If you're big, like as Kristen just said, that would be true of any woman in a sport. Everyone has a size. Some cis women...
Good point.
...are very large. They would have the same issue. I mean,
that's true.
Look at Serena Williams. That's a big woman.
That's a really good point.
She's a big woman. She's big boned. Yeah. That's a big bitch.
Yeah.
She's a brick house. Yes, she is.
She is a brick house, yeah.
But... Yeah, but she works hard and she trains hard, and so she has speed and endurance and all that kind of stuff, just like with anybody else. Just because you're trans is not, I don't think it's going to automatically make you a better at anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and I agree with you. And it's interesting because the Olympic Committee has rules for transgender people participating in the Olympics, and for trans women, their testosterone levels have to be pretty low in order to participate as a female in female Olympic competitions. And so...
Right, and you've got cisgender women who take hormones, male hormones, to build.
That's right.
To get bigger.
That's right. And so it's interesting. It's interesting. I guess, so there's another example of a trans woman competing against women who, in the wrestling field, I don't know if you've read these articles, but she is like dominating these other women in this wrestling field. I think it's high school. It might be college wrestling. And... there's a lot of controversy around her participation because people are claiming that she is just, no pun intended, manhandling these women. I don't know why that came to mind, but it's interesting. So yeah, so the Olympic Committee, what they're considering doing is saying, for example, on a team competition field, there can be no more than a certain number of transgender people on that team. So like for an Olympic volleyball team, there can only be one transgender player on a given team. And some transgender people are saying that's discrimination. That's like saying that you can only have one black person on a basketball team. So I get that argument. Right?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to me, you guys, where this conversation is going.
For every direction,
that's
all directions.
That's exactly right.
I don't know.
That's exactly right. Okay, so
but y'all keep on going, you badass bitches. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Spike them balls, and
right?
Handle them fools.
So, all right. That's it for the news. Let's talk about our headliners. What time is it? Oh, we're like right on time. Look at that. So I didn't put the title on the show because God, I don't want to create the reality. Up till now, every time we've started the show, my phone has crashed.
Which it did again.
Yes, and so we've lost the text. But the title of the show was supposed to be You've Got to Learn to Allow. And what that...
Yes, I agree.
What's it?
Devin says maybe they should be better wrestlers, right?
Well, that's...
Train harder.
So that's... Yeah, right? I mean, there's some argument for that. There's a legitimate argument for that. Yeah, I can see it both ways, actually. So, back to the headliner. So, of course, this show started... All of our shows started with the idea of helping... Stick to focus.
Don't talk about it. You stay focused.
I'm trying.
You were in the midst of speaking.
You keep laughing.
I can do what I want.
You're distracting me.
Don't blame it on me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame it
I'm blaming.
I'll knock you out.
So, what was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I remember. So all of our shows began with the idea that we were going to be helping trans women and men get together in relationships, and we're focusing specifically on men. It's interesting. I just looked at our statistics today on YouTube, and our statistics are dead center down the middle now. It's men and women who are watching our show, and so we swung too far, talking only to men. But we could finish up our whole. We have a show lineup all the way through June, talking specifically about men. And we may not follow that show lineup. But in this particular show, we are going to be talking about what it means to allow. And what that means, what allowing means, and Devin, I'm sure you know what this means, and so do you, Tamar, because you're a rock star. What allowing means is allowing your inner being, allowing your connection to all that is, to orchestrate the events that move you closer and closer to that person that you're looking for, rather than you using things that tend to frustrate you and support the negative stories you have about finding that partner. Like, for example, if you go to Craigslist, and I've done this recently, not very recently, but recently in terms of looking for people to be on the show. If you go to Craigslist and you start looking at some of the ads that are on Craigslist, they're quite depressing. Not depressing, but they just don't engender any positive feelings about what's possible in terms of finding someone. And so
there's a lot of people who are...
Say it.
You can read through their writing how they're feeling
about
life, love, and relationships.
Oh my gosh, Remy, you nailed it.
That's what it is.
That's exactly right.
You're feeling their frustration, their loss, their inadequacies, their whatever,
That's exactly right.
Self-imposed, by the way.
That's right. That's right. And so when you use those kind of tools like online dating, you're setting yourself up for reinforcing the stories that you're actually wanting to change so that you can meet the person you're wanting. So like if you go onto a dating site, you are acknowledging or putting energy into the story that you currently are single. Mm-hmm. If instead,
or that you can't find somebody on your own.
Yeah, in your town, in your reality.
Right, in your physical reality.
Yes.
That you have to go online to find someone.
Yes. And the action, and we're just using this example, the action of going online is putting more energy into the fact that you are single than it is putting energy into the fact that you are going to receive that which you're wanting. So what we're suggesting...
Love and relationship.
Yes, love and relationship. And happy, and the results of love and relationship. So what is the result?
Good for you, Devin.
What is the result of love and relationship? It's happiness. It's a feeling of security. It's a feeling of belonging. It's a feeling of relationship. It's a feeling...
Companionship.
Partnership. All those things, right? So the way that you get all those things is by focusing on having those things now. And now think about this. If you're feeling like you have a relationship, have you noticed, guys, when you're with someone, you tend to get more interest from the opposite sex than when you're not with someone. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Women do too?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. Why?
Yeah, I was just going to say, why is
that? Well, when you're out there and you're looking, right, and you're like, it was me, I need someone, I love someone, and I want someone, right? There's this air of desperation that you carry on you. You wear it, and people feel it, see it, whether they acknowledge it or not. It's a sense.
Yes.
People feel that. They don't want that.
Yes.
But the moment you're, especially in the beginning, when you first get into a relationship, right, all of a sudden everyone wants you.
Yes.
No one wanted me 2 weeks ago, but now everybody wants me.
Yes.
Well, it's because you're wearing that honeymoon. You're wearing that joy, that happiness, that companionship, that partner, that all that goodness, right?
Yes.
You're wearing that like a skin. And
yes.
Everyone sees that, and therefore they are attracted to it.
Now, here's the key, you guys.
What happened?
What Remy just said is the magic. It's the gold. Here's the key. You can generate that in yourself. I'm just getting, look, goose pimples. You can generate that, what Remy just said, without being in a relationship.
Yes.
And that's your goal.
Because that's when you attract the right person.
Yes. That's exactly right. So that's what allowing is. It's getting into the place where you already have the emotional outcomes of being in a relationship, even though you're not in a relationship. And when you can maintain that consistently, then you're in a place of allowing, instead of you having to go out and find this person, you're allowing that person to be attracted to you.
Find you.
Yes, you light up like a light bulb.
Bing.
Yes. Now, think about the converse, the opposite. If you're in the woe is me, if you're thinking, where is she? If you get desperate when you meet somebody and so you're like glomming onto that person like she's the last woman on earth, the energy that you're putting out is going to be repellent. And it may attract, and it may attract the opposite of the kind of people that you're looking for. People who are desperate. People who are looking for someone to exploit or to use or to abuse or whatever.
Or someone who are also just as lonely, depressed, sad, feeling those same emotions. Again, you're going to meet someone who matches your story.
Yes.
And just because you guys are on that same level doesn't mean it's going to be the most positive and healthy relationship for both people. But that doesn't mean you both can't help each other become stepping stones.
Boom.
To the next opportunity.
Boom. And that, Remy is hitting on the cylinders. And that is why every relationship you have...
Food smells good. Sorry.
That's okay. That is why every relationship...
Smells good over here!
That is why every relationship that you have can be appreciated, because the relationship you're in, no matter how sucky you think it is actually serving you in allowing you to become the person so that you're ready for... the person that's ready for the next relationship. Wow, we are like on it. Let's take some comments.
Jonathan says, people can wear frustration and depression as an aura too, and people can pick up on that. That's exactly right. It's the opposite. Kristen says, that is a fantastic observation. Devin says, how do you generate the honeymoon skin?
We're going to get to that in just a second after we finish the comments. Or is that all the comments? Okay, so how do you generate this skin? How you generate the skin is by acknowledging in the present moment what is appreciative, what is worthy of appreciation in your life.
Everything.
Exactly, Remy. That's exactly right.
And actually showing appreciation
for those things.
For those things.
Yes.
The small things. And it really is the small things in life, because they add to the momentum. It's adding those. Oh my God. Each one is a piece of coal on the fire.
Crank it.
That keeps that engine going of that new momentum, right? It's getting the right stories. It's telling yourself the right stories. It's telling yourself a story that fills you with joy and makes you happy. You acknowledge the all of the goodness.
Yes.
The sun is shining. I woke up today. The air is beautiful. I feel the cold. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. My body is healthy. If you don't love your body, there's a part of your body that you love, even if you feel like you're...
Because it might not be perfect.
Exactly.
But there's some part of you that is.
There's something you can appreciate. Yes. Yes. Like, I love that my body can digest food. I love that my eyesight is so good. I love that my lips are so pretty. I love that I can speak. I love that I have a tongue that can help form words. You can get into minute details of things about a body that you may not feel secure about and appreciate those minute things. And the same thing goes...
It'll get you closer and closer to a point where you can love and appreciate your own body.
Because you're building up momentum. And Devin, what you do to get the skin is you can't go immediately from not appreciating anything to appreciating everything and having this glowing skin that we're talking about. But you can start with the easy things. So, for example, if you have a cat, you can talk about how much you love your cat. And then you can work up to another thing that's a little harder to get. Like if you live in a room that you really like, you can talk about how you appreciate the room. If it's super hot in your room, instead of talking about the fact that it's super hot, you can appreciate how your body can regulate its temperature in the space of a hot room through your sweat glands. There's always something that you can appreciate, and as a result of the appreciation, get to the point where you're in this glowing skin that Remy was talking about. Oh my gosh, your question was so appropriate because it's allowing us to go deeper into what we're talking about.
Absolutely. You know, imagine, think back to the last time you were in a relationship and that situation was there. Imagine how you felt at that moment when you were at Taco Bell, at the grocery store, whatever it was, and you weren't even with your with your new boyfriend or girlfriend, but you're catching everyone's eye, and you realize you're catching people's eye. You realize people are flirting with you, like, or directly coming on to you. You know what I mean? Like, think about that feeling and where you were inside yourself, and what it would take to create that emotion within you.
Remy nailed it again. That is a very easy way. If you can conjure the memories, it's a very easy way to presence the skin for you. By going back to your relationship that you were in, that you really enjoyed, and thinking about that. That will automatically connect you to what we're talking about. So, wow, that was this show.
Kristen says, one of my guys is in dating mode. He is attracting a lot of women. Of course, I understand that, but I'll bet this part of it. Women who say they aren't open to poly are still flocking to him. He's wearing that skin of happiness or joy, and right, he's wearing the air of attraction.
Yes,
and that's what it is. It's we're more confident when we're with somebody.
Yes,
right.
Isn't that true?
So you wear that confidence.
Yep. That
can be a good place to start. Is find a way to feel confident, whatever that means. If you get all dolled up and do your face and hair and you know, buy yourself something special that day or whatever it is it would take to build up some confidence for yourself to feel the power that is within you. Because as we just talked about this earlier, trans ladies, you have a lot of fucking power.
Absolutely.
So reach into your goodies and pull it out.
My goodies. So again, Remy is on all cylinders because this is so Devin, you asked a question earlier about money, and this same approach that we're talking about, drawing the relationship you want to you, also works for money. And here is where new age type stuff like what we're talking about gets a bad rap, because people hear, well, you just feel prosperity and you'll draw money to you, and it's not that simple.
No,
but that phrase is pointing to the answer. So what do you do? How do you create about you the skin that draws money to you? Well, you think about aspects of money that cause you to let go of your resistance to not having any, and that puts you in the mindset or the story that you already have the money. And in the same way that when you have a relationship, you're more attractive to other people because of the fact that you're in a relationship and you've dropped your resistance to being single. In the same way with money, you create the presence within yourself of having the money. And as a result of that, the money responds in the same way that people respond. Because there's no difference between a dollar bill and a human being. Because everything is conscious. And everything responds to the story that you're putting out.
All made of the same stardust.
Yes, Remy. Yes. Wow, I just love where this show has gone because we've gone to the crux of the matter. So,
and then just keep it up. Keep that skin on, and that's the most important part, is to keep it up, and to continue to build the new momentum. And you find that it becomes easier and easier to wear that skin, to wear that aura, to wear that positive vibe, and you start drawing all of the positive things into your life. You find the love, you find the money, you find the, maybe that's through the job or that's whatever, you know what I mean? But you do this, and you draw into your life all that you're hoping for.
Again, Remy has hit it on the nail. So here's one of the reasons why people say this doesn't work.
Full Metal Attraction magic, hell yeah!
Here's one of the reasons why people say what we're talking about doesn't work. It goes back to what Remy just said. Because people don't do what we're talking about long enough to soothe their old story momentum and to start the momentum of the new stories that they're talking about.
Huge key.
Yes.
Huge key.
Yes.
You gotta do it and stick with it long enough. It's not gonna just happen overnight. You might start seeing the first little glimpses overnight. So that's when you have to acknowledge and show gratitude for those moments and keep going. Allow that gratitude to be a huge piece of coal on the fire.
That's exactly right.
Keep it going.
And so the question then is, well, how long do I have to do it? You have to do it until the results show up that you want. And here's the thing, you guys. When people ask, how long do I have to do it before I get what I want?
As long as it takes!
But here's the thing. While you're doing it, you're feeling freaking good.
Yes, you are.
So it's not like you're being...
Because everything will start happening, and the things that you didn't realize that you needed will start showing up first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All your needs are going to get met in the order that they should be getting met.
That's
not
right.
what you think should happen.
That's right.
So that's that allowing it. Going back to what we were talking about. Allowing it to do what it does.
Yes. So it's not like you're doing this work and it's drudgery or it's torture or it's something you don't want to do. On the way to getting the thing you're trying to get, not trying to get, but you're allowing into your life, you're actually getting a whole bunch of other great stuff, including feeling really good, probably feeling better than you felt in a long time as you've moved down the path. Now, here's the reality.
Hi, Roger.
Oh, hey, Roger. For some people, this process will take a very long time.
Right, and those are the ones that don't want to let go
Boom.
of the past and the old stories.
That's correct.
And the negativity, because you're set in your ways, and it's easier to continue on with the negative talk and the negative emotions, the negative feelings, and my life is always going to be shit. My life always falls down the toilet. I
can't do this. This is really hard. Those kind of stories just drag out the process. Now, I'm not expressing magic when I say this. This can happen instantly. But most of us, all of us, have so much momentum of stories we've taken on way back from childhood and forward that it's not going to happen magically. Or I should say instantly. But you will have an instant result.
But it depends on you.
It does depend on you.
It truly depends on you, because some of us can drop something old. The moment you realize that it's no longer necessary or needed in your world, you can drop it just that easily.
That's exactly right,
and
Whitney.
Some of us are better than others,
That's
okay. It's who we are.
That's right.
But it might be a moment, or it might be 6 months or a year or 6
or
weeks.
20 years.
Right.
But the great thing is, after 20 years, when you get that thing you've always been wanting, it's freaking fantastic. And you'll say to yourself, I promise, you'll say to yourself, that didn't take all that long. Those 20 years didn't feel like very long. And the reason why they didn't feel long is because all along the way, like Remy said, everything else you're wanting has been coming to you. And you're realizing that the universe loves you and that you sit in a state of grace and that the universe has been waiting to give you all this stuff for a long time. And you're the only one that's been keeping it from coming in. So you guys got to get that what we're talking about is real. And you can have the life of your dreams simply by just doing what we've talked about in this episode. You can have the life of your dreams. Now, here's the challenge. You have to develop the daily habits that we're talking about right now. You have to develop the same daily habits that have you repeating the negative story in your head when you're not even aware that you're doing that. You have to make this as unconscious as the stories you currently are telling that creates the reality you currently have. When you get to that point, and it's not like you don't see any results between now and then, but when you get to that point, then things start happening almost all the time.
Yeah.
You're just aware of it all the time. And I just want to say, the immediate result you get, and it's immediate, is you feel better.
You feel better.
That is a physical manifestation. The feeling you get is physical because your body responds and your emotions are physically felt. That's a physical manifestation. You gotta get that. That's why we say the results are guaranteed, because the first thing you get is the emotional response from the changing of the story. Wow, we just nailed this episode. Good job. Okay.
It's been that kind of day. It's all good.
All right. So let's take some comments, then we'll wrap up.
Let's see.
Roger, very nice seeing you on the show.
Roger says, never stop until you're there. Stay happy, stay motivated.
Yep.
Devin says, Remy's caffeinated tonight. Just feeling good. There's some sunshine today, and I think I just really absorbed and got a little recharge.
Yeah, awesome.
Roger says, yes, all beauty is only shown when you are ready to show it. Remy, you're so beautiful. Aww. Thanks, hon. Aww. I hope everyone hears you both.
Yeah.
Kristen says, I'm glad I posted my fear about the trans brain, and you have a great response. Yes, this is a magical process. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I keep trying to tell him, and he knows it. He just... The muggles are watching.
The what? The muggles.
Thanks for showing me that, Perry. All right, you guys. It was such a great time. Thank you.
Great
and
show.
We'll see you next week.
Rachel, welcome to the show. Join us an hour earlier, and you can be on the whole show or just watch it after we're recorded. Is it Rachel? Raquel? It doesn't matter. Bye.